Hello and welcome everyone to episode 17 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
How's it going, everybody? Yep, I'm the English letterer for, of course, Dragon Ball Super and Kaiju number 8 and Ayashimon and Shonen Jump, as well as many others across the manga industry.
Quite prolific.
I'm everywhere.
Right here.
You can't
Yes.
get rid of me.
You could try. It won't happen. You'll fail. Just like these damn tears. Who put these onions here?
Yeah,
My God.
it has been like 15 chapters of just onion cutting ninjas or onion cutting pirates, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. It is crazy because, hey, for those who've read the first time, this is the moment we were talking about.
Yeah.
This for so long about we'll get to it as we get to it, but yeah. This is the big moment for me in the early going.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into it. Chapter 81, Tears. And I actually noticed something about our little cover page as we were waiting here. This is actually non-canon. This whole situation with the three of them, because Nami is wearing the I'm a Lion shirt.
Ooh.
This is a what if things were just fine?
Yeah. So this, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Have that heartache. Have that like little knife in the chest, because this is how it would have been if life continued on.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Why you got to do that right off the bat?
I know, right? It is setting the mood.
Quite fitting for our
so
chapter
brutal.
title already.
I know. Oh, God, the tears indeed flow. But first, we got some annoying laughter as freaking Nezumi laughing his butt off over the 93 million berries, which he gets a 30% cut. So 31 million berries.
Corruption.
That's a good chunk of money. And he looks at his most evil and slimy in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can just... such a punchable face right off the bat at the bottom of the first page.
Even it's like you can just tell how hard she worked for this, because the one guy says it's smeared with mud and blood and falling apart.
Yeah, and it's been collected over, what was it, 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years.
So of course, like, it's gonna be, like, falling apart, and like it's so messed up because this is such a personal thing to her, and just like, oh well, we're just looking through it. Oh yep, that's definitely a lot of very dirty money.
Yep.
It just it hurts.
Especially just the transition here from the yik 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 to the Arlong's yahas, and it's just like, it just makes you want to deck them both.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the classic like gangster-esque, or what's going on here, continuing off from where we left off at the end of the previous chapter, where like Nami's confronting Arlong, and Arlong has the classic gangster like, hey, the deal was 100 million berries to get your village back, like, and anything else was fair game. So yeah, and he's just, of course, completely laughing it up.
And that's the thing. He doesn't even attempt to play it off like, I don't know what you're talking
about.
Right,
yeah,
I'm so
exactly.
sorry for this. It is just laughing at her pain. And that it just goes to show how much power he knows he has over her.
Yeah, which we'll see again, I think, in a couple pages.
Oh, yeah. And he knows how to play. It's like, you got to do this again because the lives of everybody in Cocoa Village on your head. And then the fact that she knows now that everybody was counting on her, just that pressure, that weight.
The way that this has all been set up, just to deal like the biggest emotional blow, is like, now everybody sort of knows the situation. Now Nami knows what all of the villagers are going through while she was trying to save up all this money, and it is just like all of the weight is coming crashing down.
Oh yeah, and it's the whole reason she joined up is so nobody else had to die, and that's immediately what everybody else is rushing towards. It's like, that's it. We've done all that we can. We're living in disgrace, but they played on Nami's goodness, and they have to pay, even if it kills us.
Yeah. The villagers are all they're all pretty much ready to die at this point.
Oh yeah, they know they're going to die, but they
do
not care.
Yeah, and that they're all doing this for Nami.
And the fact that Nami's able to shift from the tears and the frustration and just the anguish of it all, to confronting the village and just trying to laugh it off. Is like, give me one more chance. It'll be easy this time.
Ugh.
And oh God, those tears from Genzo.
My heart sank at that panel.
I know, because it just goes, it shows her goodness, how much she wants to help them, and he can feel it, and it's just,
yep.
Oh man, it's awful.
Yeah, and then we get this jump back to Arlong, where he says that he's basically like, I'm not going to let her go until she, draws charts of all of the oceans in the world. So it's sort of like I mean, of course we know this at this point as the reader, but like, yeah, he was never going to keep his promise in the first place.
Yeah, despite all his protestations that, I'd rather slip my belly than break a promise.
Yeah, which, I mean, yeah, he technically did not do, but it's just...
Yep.
Yeah,
it's
that's just
still
such a
dirty
criminal
move, and
yeah,
they're just laughing it up, and it's makes them truly hateable. And that immediate going to the hug of Genzo and Nami, it's like, you've done enough. You can't do this for yourself anymore. You did well, but leave and go have your dreams. Don't worry about us.
After all of this time that she's been fighting for the villagers, and now that in a way that they're all basically like ready to waste all of her hard work by dying. Yeah,
exactly. She's basically starting from zero, where everybody's willing to die again, and everybody to protect her, and she's lost everything. She just doesn't want anybody else to die, and even like tries to hold them at knife point, and Genzo just grabs it, and so just like, we know we're going to die, but step aside, because this is all they can do.
Yeah, off they go, and
yep, and she's left. They're gone. The knife's in front of her, and all she can hear is Arlong's laughter in her head, and she looks at her tattoo, and then just starts stabbing it.
Yeah.
3 big stabs, just screaming out his name.
Yeah.
Before, and I every time I see this scene, I can't help but tear up.
Yeah.
It is
man, it
amazingly well done.
Yeah.
Especially just the fact that Luffy out of nowhere stops her.
Yeah, he's been here the whole time.
And the interaction between them is so fantastically done, because, and I know this is something you wanted to bring up from the last time, is like, she's asking, what are you doing here? You don't know anything. It's like, yep, I don't know anything. This has nothing to do with you.
He literally does not know.
Like, leave this island. It's like, yeah, you told me to. And she finally breaks down and says, help.
It just...
If I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying, because I have tears in my eyes right now, because damn, this hits hard.
It does. And I just, like... So, of course, this is basically one of my favorite scenes in all of One Piece. Over 1,000 chapters that still exist, like, this is still, I think, one of the most, like, emotionally resonant scenes in the entire story. And it's not only just, like, Nami finally breaking down, asking for help with tears in her eyes, but sort of the instant, like, all Luffy does is that he just, like, takes his hat, he puts it on Nami's head, and he just says, okay, that just screams out for, like, an entire page. It's just one big close-up. And it was the detail that I had forgotten, that, like, all of the backstory stuff, that, like, Luffy just leaves. Because his mind has already been made up, like, during this entire arc. Like, he doesn't need any convincing that he's, like, here to help Nami. So all it really took was for Nami to say help, and he's like, of course,
Yeah.
Like, it is that sort of...
Yeah, it's the same sort of idea of Sanji said, like, I don't want him if you're forcing me to take Sanji. This is, I'll take him if he wants to, and I want him to, but this is that. And this is the same sort of thing, whereas, like, I want her to come with me, and and he doesn't believe her whenever she told him to go before, and to finally see her true feelings, that cry for help is enough to just, like, this is all I needed. And that makes it so powerful of a character. It makes him seem so much more emotionally mature.
Yeah.
Luffy's than a lot of other shonen protagonists.
He's more than just, like, the loud guy who eats a lot, which is, like, your typical shonen protagonist. Like, there's this extra layer of, like, this is a story ostensibly about the power of friendship, but, like, what does that mean for a person to, like, sort of live that as their creed, no matter what? And so I think what's so satisfying about Luffy is like that. I feel like we as the audience always know what he's going to do because it is the most straightforward, the most like, if you do, I'm going to help my friends no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I believe
seeing
in them,
that in action,
they believe in me, and this is how it's going to go. And that straightforwardness gets him into trouble, but it also just solves things because he just cuts through everything else and gets to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, it's very satisfying to watch, as we're about to see.
And he even from the beginning, he never expressed interest in her backstory.
Yeah,
it does not matter to him.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go further, I watched this sequence with the villagers and everything like that in the anime, just to compare, because I felt like it was important in here because that was my first experience with this one. And I wanted to see which I felt was stronger. And it's actually a very specific point where I think it switches from quality because the encounter with Arlong, the encounter with the villagers, it's so tightly paced and gets a lot more emotion out there than the anime achieves. We don't have that crying from Genzo, from the realization of her saying that. We don't have that little bit from that moment. We don't have the blood from when he grabs the knife to show just how dedicated he is to protecting her and all that. That whole lead up with the villagers, it just seems like there's a little too much there. This gets to the heart of the matter and really shows the raw emotions of both sides. But on the other hand, from the moment she starts stabbing herself, that's when the anime's better, because I'm sorry, I was actually shocked there was only 3 stabs in here. There is a desperation, and it really does come down to the voice acting. Yeah. The voice acting and the desperation, the just over and over and over again.
Actually, seeing it in motion is just like the way that they frame it in the anime, that part will stick in my mind forever, basically.
Oh, it will never leave, because it is just pure raw frustration and emotion and devastation. Yep. And maybe it's more realistic that she only stabs herself 3 times and doesn't do as much carving as she does in the anime. But man, is it effective, because it's all the frustration coming out. Yeah. And even the interplay between Luffy and Nami in the anime, and I specifically watched it in Japanese. I watched it in all the languages, and I think they all do well. Yeah. But I think Japanese subs, for my money, does do it the best. And just that little help at the end, and then like, all right, let's do it. Yep. I think the moment she starts stabbing herself was when the anime becomes the stronger product. Yeah.
And it's hard to hate that, like, because as we see here, like once we've gotten all the emotions out, Luffy's just like, let's go. Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp are all here, like they're all posing like badasses. I know. It's just like the squad is ready to go.
It made Usopp look like a badass.
Yeah. And of course, the anime has that epic walk scene up to Arlong Park, which is it is definitely them kind of dragging out time a little bit, but it's also just really freaking cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's so cool. And even that little bit is like the fact that he gave his treasure to Nami to hold on to. Yeah. That means a lot.
It does. Yeah.
It's like this comfort for her. And it's amazing. And then we even got Johnny and Yosaku, like, really showing their worth, stopping the villagers from going to Arlong Park. We came here to make amends for misjudging Nami. Yep. Because we heard her story and we were too ashamed. So, like, we tried to take them on. We're not strong enough. So you're not going in here until a certain crew comes in.
Yeah. Which is that's definitely, it's not a huge part of this story, but that little bit where, I mean, they basically just like admit that they were wrong, I think it goes a huge way to like showing their strength of character.
It makes them seem like more than just these tag-alongs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the absolute impressive part about this, is that they're essentially useless.
Yeah.
They don't really do anything.
They know their place, and they know that, like, just wait for the real crew to show up.
Man, I can't decide which one I like better. Is the seeing the group come up on the villagers and then Luffy punching through, or just going from like, hey, those weaklings actually part of Zoro's crew, not even worth killing, and then just bam,
page turn, And just Luffy punching the front door right open.
Yeah, in one go. It takes 3 punches in the anime.
Yeah,
it's one punch and just bam, and just which one is Arlong? And, that's
either way, either version. Such a great way to end. Just
it's time for the face-off, and that is. It's been a long time coming.
I'm so ready. Shall we move on to the next chapter?
Yes, let's do. But yeah, chapter 81, one of the best chapters in the entire.
Agreed.
There might be others as I go along. We'll have to see, but that one just establishes the payoff that Oda has started setting up with a lot of these, the pacing and placing of these chapters.
Like I said, I'm caught up. I've read all over 1,000 chapters of this manga, and this one so early on is still top 10, top 5.
Yeah,
yeah,
I can believe it.
It is that high.
And you know what? I'll put it out there. I think chapter 82, okay, let's stand up, might be one of the best covers he's put out to this point. I think it might be the best cover.
It's one of my favorites.
The countdown of who joined up when 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
Yeah,
having a little post for each of them. Stand by, stand the pain.
Yep.
I want that colorized as a poster because damn, that's good.
It's really good. I feel like this is the one since we have sort of like all 5 of these like early crew members together, and everybody's just coming together to save Nami. Like it is definitely maybe like the first big power friendship moment for One Piece, and it is just it still does my heart good.
Yeah, it's the formation, because in the anime openings you see these 5.
Yeah,
you know these 5 are joining, so to finally have them together and have this big moment. Really
the build up was definitely there.
Yeah, and I love this calm walk. It's like, which one is Arlong? That would be me. I'm Luffy. And what's a Luffy? A pirate.
That's a great exchange.
And he's just continually walking and destroys these 2 fishmen in one go. Yeah, shocking.
They just bonk their heads together. Luffy's just out of my way. And then I completely forgot about this. This is a great page turn.
Oh yeah. It's one of those things where you could see Arlong is perturbed by Luffy,
right? Yeah,
and what he's doing, but he maintains the sitting position.
He's still sitting down. Yeah, just calmly. What business do you have with me, pirate?
And then, bam!
Luffy just punches him in the face.
That deck.
It just some of the most satisfying face punches in all of manga. Like, won't be the last time we get one from Luffy to a villain, but. Oh my god, it's just the calm walk up to just
again a top 5. There's one other I could think of much later that might be even better.
Yeah.
But this is definitely up there. This is I think this is one of the first.
Yeah. Yeah, Arlong just goes flying.
God, the emotion on Luffy's face.
Yeah.
I love that last panel. You made our navigator cry.
Oh boy, Luffy is pissed.
Yeah, he might be more upset here than he was with the Mihawk situation.
Yep. And then of course, all the other fishmen are coming in, and then like Sanji is just like, he just kicks all of them aside, and it's just like we're already here, like we have like the crew fighting together.
Yeah. And Sanji's just admonishing. He was like, you always have to dive right in. It's like, yeah, but I don't lose. I'm not worried about that. Just save a little for the rest of us.
And I love this. I love the banter on the next page between just all of them.
Mm-hmm. Usopp's like, yeah, you don't have to share.
How generous of you, says Zoro.
And then you still got the silliness of Hachi, where it's like, he took me for a ride. I mean, I took him for a ride.
Both are technically true.
Yep. Everything's sort of starting to come together for all the fishmen about what these men are about.
What they're in for.
Yeah. Again, the fact that Johnny and Yosaku are with them for this, because the villagers, of course, like, what the hell? How is this possible?
Yeah.
And Genzo was asking him, like, you have no reason to fight. Why are you doing this? It's like, they made her cry.
Yeah.
That's good enough for us to risk our lives. And you know what? Power of friendship, man.
Yeah.
That's
the good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is just utterly satisfying.
Yeah.
And then we get simultaneously one of the best and one of the worst sequences in this whole set.
Yeah,
because of what it means, and we'll see. We'll get into what's it's all about. But the first thing they do is it's time to call the monster from the Grand Line.
Yep.
Decimated Goza.
Well, and I love that Hachi. He's like playing his mouth like a trumpet. But of course, as we know, or the surprise here, for the first time reading, I remember laughing out a lot. That okay, now you're in for it, and they summon Momu.
Who still has the bump on his head, still has this string tied on it. He's still crying. Like, I feel so bad for this thing at this point.
Yeah.
And all it has to do is see Luffy and Sanji.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, It's only until he's threatened by Arlong.
Yep.
Which, that is true fear.
Yep.
That he attacks the rest of them.
It's
a really good moment, a really funny moment, thanks to Momu.
Yeah.
But it also leads into maybe one of the dumbest moves that Luffy's ever done in his life.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, in the moment here, I was like, oh yeah, this is effective. I mean, he like slams his feet into the concrete, like to ground himself, like kind of taking like a sumo wrestler kind of pose.
Yeah.
And then I guess he like grabs onto Momu, which is how all the other all the Fishman pirates are like, oh, he has a devil fruit power.
Yeah,
but,
it's like that's not good. And I love how as soon as he grabs on, Momu's like, no.
Yeah. So
like all the ferociousness is gone. It's just like I'm so tired of this.
Yeah.
You feel bad for him.
Yeah. So on the one hand, we have this spread here where Luffy's doing his gum windmill attack and is using Momu to just like whip him around like a tornado almost to hit all the other fishmen, which is like, it is an effective way to like, he basically gets rid of the riffraff right here and there. So the actual number of participants in the fight is all the ones who matter are the other ones who are still up. I love this, like, you see Momu like flying in the air, crashes, and Luffy's just like, I didn't come here to waste time on small fry. I came here to clobber you.
Yeah, you can just see his anger at all this, and it's all very cool. Although I should mention, I do like it threw me off when it said windmill, because the anime definitely emphasized that he was inspired to do this move by Genzo's pinwheel. even called it as such.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's actually, I don't know whether it's a translation thing or the anime just sort of like saw put two and two together and decided to go for it.
Yeah, because I feel like even in the manga, when Luffy sees Genzo, he's like, that's so cool. So it's kind of a cool way for the anime to sort of like connect these pieces that weren't really connected.
As far as we're aware, again, it might just be a translation thing, but I'm not sure. But yeah, the clobbering you bit, again, it's all badass.
Yeah.
And this confrontation between, like, Luffy's doing all this stuff and definitely surprising Arlong, but he is like, he's upset.
Yeah.
But he's not scared.
Yeah. What a way to end the chapter.
Yeah, and now it's time for the other three to step in. It's like, all right, we got our 3-on-3. We got our 3 followers versus Luffy's 3 friends.
Yep.
And I just love that from Zoro. It's like, now the real players appear.
Yeah,
like,
Zoro's excited. Sanji
cool.
and Usopp are like, what were you doing?
You idiot.
Which is a pretty typical reaction from the crew.
Yeah, that's fair. We do get an SBS, and something I did not notice. People spotted, which good on the kids, my God.
Yeah.
Find Panda Man on the side of the Baratier ship that housed the Krieg pirates when they were all shipping off. And it's like, find Panda Man, and Panda Man is there.
Yeah. I don't think he's in every chapter, but if there's a chapter with a crowd shot, there's a good chance that Panda Man is in there somewhere. At least once per chapter. Maybe even just once per chapter if there's... if he has a place to hide, I think he'll show up.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I was like, oh, wow, I completely missed that.
Yeah, I didn't. And I feel like it might be easier to see in print, but with the resolution on the Jump app. And
then with Chapter 83, Luffy in Black, we get a complete surprise. It threw me off how soon this started up. And it actually threw me off because it says Short-Term Concentrated Cover Serial Part 2.
Yeah, I was like, where'd Part 1 go?
Yeah, where's Part 1? And then I realized, like, oh, wait. Buggy's part 1 with the next chapter.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. Our next cover story has begun with the focus on Kobe and Helmeppo, where there's not as much to say here. It's just Kobe is determined as a chore boy for the Navy, while Helmeppo is a slacker.
Yeah, slacking off, smoking on the job.
It's like we'll see how these go. I will say I'm not as immediately interested in it as I was in Buggy, but
yeah, for sure.
It'd be good to see what Kobe's up to.
Buggy's just a king, right? Like his presence is a net positive for anything that he's involved in. But it is cool, like, because I feel like in these kinds of stories, especially when like you meet the character from the first chapter who is clearly like not going to be involved, or it's just like the stories are always like, we'll meet again, and they never do. So it's cool to see, like, okay, hey, here's Kobe, here's what he's up to.
Yeah, here's him going for his Navy dream, and hey,
yeah,
it's good to see some good Navy people after so long.
Yeah, as we haven't had that many yet.
God, no. There's been pretty much is just Kobe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get into the chapter proper, and Momu's laid out.
Yeah,
the villagers are
down for the count.
Amazed. Most of the fishmen are laid out, and it's down to just the 4 on 4 really.
Yeah,
with got those other 3, but it's like, hey, don't get worked up. If you lose your temper, you'll destroy the park.
Oh yeah, I love that Arlong's crewmates have to sort of manage his temper.
Arlong has to lounge at all times because he's basically in his chair position, just up against the wall there. He hasn't really moved. And it's like, oh, Hachi's up to something. And Sanji's immediately trying to think of like recipes involving octopus. Mm-hmm. Usopp's already standing in the back.
I love the little curly font doom.
Yeah. Well, Luffy's trying to say, hey, there's a problem.
Yep.
And Luffy gets hit directly with the Hachi inkjet.
Yeah. Which he couldn't dodge out of the way because he planted his feet in solid concrete. Which, as Sanji sees it, oh boy.
Yeah, it's... like, you got a very, very cool move. And it just feels like such a... Again, especially in the anime, it felt like such a trite way to get Luffy out of the action.
Yeah, which is pretty much. And I feel like it's probably not going to last as long as it did in the anime, as has kind of been the running theme for all the things that were like, oh man, this is going to take forever. But either way, like, it is sort of I guess he couldn't think of a better way for Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp to all have like their 1v1s. But didn't want to jump straight into Luffy versus Arlong yet either.
Because I believe a lot of...
So it is sort of like this extra layer of tension.
Yeah, I think later he solves his 1v1 problems by having the crew continually split up and then having their 1v1s. So there is nobody around to kind of help them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. It's another thing to take a look at the evolution as far as how it all goes. But it always felt like a weak part. Though, again, you get some cool moments because Hachi brings the roof down on top of Luffy. But
literally. I forgot that Sanji...
that kick.
His leg straight up with the save. I totally forgot Sanji stepped in there. When I turned the page, it was like, ooh. Sanji has always the coolest saves.
Yeah, he does. And I was like, oh, Luffy can handle that. But the fact that Sanji stepped in was like... Oh man, it just makes him feel like really part of the crew at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, I've entered the fray on behalf of that fool of a captain, but hey, compared to a bunch of woman hating crap pirates, he's not so bad.
The smack talk here is pretty great, and he's just it's already he and Kurobi are getting into it.
It's good. He's like, you can definitely see where the battle lines are starting to be drawn.
Yep.
And poor Usopp is trying to rescue Luffy.
Yep.
He's just stretching.
Yeah, his gum powers are kind of doing him in for the wrong reasons here.
But then we got our next battle lines where Hachi is properly upset about all this.
Yeah. Ready
to smash again. And I love that Usopp
Zoro does like a teleport behind you kind of.
Yeah. It's amazing. It gets behind him and just taunts him, like gets him out of the way. It's like, gets their focus off of Usopp.
Yep. Man, again, the team dynamics are so good here.
Again, got some great lines. It's like, you wiped out my comrades. That's ancient history. I'm pretty sure that was just this morning.
Yeah. And I get that last panel at the bottom. Zoro's just like, you guys aren't doing the terrorizing anymore. We are. Just, let's go.
And the amazing way that Usopp ends up with his...
Yes. I forgot this is how this happened.
He's just like, cool, I'll let you deal with the octopus, and let's go, Luffy, which sends him flinging into...
Yep.
I think it's just Chew.
Yeah, Chew.
Which sends him flying down, and Luffy just boings back into it like
he's
him
still
up.
stuck. Yeah, Chew is... he just has that death glare at Usopp. And... Usopp just books it, and Chew is chasing after him, and that's like, how
I'm out of here.
That's how Usopp gets separated from the rest of them. He's just running for his life.
Yeah, just completely takes off, and Chew runs after him, but then sees all the villagers and sees all the weapons. It's like, oh, it's a rebellion, so all of you have to... And before he can even finish the sentence, Usopp coming in again with a fire star. Hell yeah, Usopp.
Again, it's like once he gains some distance, he's brave. And, he's like, I'm your opponent. Got that? And then immediately runs away again. And just the faces and the distortion and the speed lines while he's screaming. I'm just... Oh, man.
Yeah, it fits his sharpshooter personality.
Yeah.
Or skills to stay far away. And the cowardice just, it honestly makes it really funny.
Yeah, it does.
And there's just, I love it's like, is there something wrong with that young man? And even Nojiko's like, a guy like that fighting the fishmen. It's like, can't believe it. And Arlong finally stands up, and I gotta say, he's looking terrifying. Like,
that panel of him standing up is, oh boy. And even again, we just have Karubi, just like, Arlong, don't get mad.
Mm-hmm. And good on Luffy trying to go for the punch despite being where he's at.
Yeah.
But Arlong catching the punch, that's
like, oh man.
that's good. He just picks up the piece of concrete that Luffy's in.
Yep.
And goes to toss him in. And man, again, I forgot how much Luffy resisted here, where he tries to do the gum pistol, and instead Arlong catches him, and like he
just bites
it. Like, it really feels like he should have lost that arm with how he's bitten through guns and cannonballs and whatnot.
Yeah, and then Luffy bites him back.
Yeah, he does bite him back. But that doesn't really matter. He just tosses him into the ocean, laughing,
or into their little pool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course, the Luffy's useless in the water. So, which, I mean, hey, that's a good strategic thinking on Arlong's part. I don't particularly love the way that it kind of drags it out the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it does add a ticking clock.
Yeah.
At this point, where there's some good setup here, where we got Zoro and Sanji versus Karubi and Hachi.
Yep.
And if they know, like, don't go into the water yet because they have the advantage. We have to defeat them before we can go get Luffy.
Yeah.
And so there is that aspect works, but again, I think it's the dragging out of the anime that kind of ruined the idea for me.
Yeah.
We'll see how it comes together.
Well, I do love how this chapter ends with just Usopp's still running.
Yeah. He's just... There's where everybody is Luffy's drowning, Zoro and Sanji are ready for their fights, and Usopp's running away.
Yep.
Chew not far behind. But yeah, we got the SBS once again, and we learned that Arlong and the other fishmen are mammals. They have kids in the same way that humans do with the fish women.
I didn't need to know that.
Yeah. Good to know, I suppose. We also get the heights of everybody, which range from 5'6.5" to 5'10".
Well, I love that Oda says basically they're all about the same height. I mean, 5'6.5" and 5'10" aren't really the same, but
yeah, that's about a 4-inch difference. But oh well. But nothing too major there, other than the fact that fishmen are mammals, which interesting.
Yay!
But that brings us to chapter 84, Zombie. And Kobe and Helmeppo's Chronicle of Toil. Chores. Or we
just all doing laundry. You got some of the Navy guys in the background doing some stretches, I guess.
doing their whole work and gotten the other Navy men calling out to him. I love, like, obviously Helmeppo's miserable. That's not too much of a surprise.
Yeah, Kobe's happy. That's the thing we should point out. Like he's living his dream right now, basically.
Yeah, he's back to being a chore boy, but he's at least doing it for the people he looks up to. He's with the Marines. That's the one element here I really like. I
could totally see Helmeppo being the kind of guy who's like he's just pampered and thinks, he's the best or whatever. And so all of this actual hard work, he's just like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like, he's definitely a guy who's never had to work in his life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That Kobe smile is probably the best part of that.
Yeah, that's wholesome.
For our not so wholesome is Luffy's still drowning.
Yeah,
and battle lines are definitely getting played out. I love this 2v2 setup. It looks really cool. Everybody's sort of panicking about what they're going to do, and Zoro's the first one to step up. And Hachi tries the inkjet again, and Zoro goes for the head, but only gets the hair.
I mean, he was ready to kill.
There. He was. Zoro goes for the kill a lot.
Yeah.
He really does.
I do love that Hachi's like, oh, my hair. If you think you'll get away with it, you're absolutely right. It's only hair. It'll grow back. Zoro's like, thanks.
Sure. Why not? We were already seeing him wheezing, and that's when Sanji notices, like, crap.
Oh, yeah.
This is not good. But it's also distracting enough that kind of throws him off guard with Karubi here.
Yeah.
A fish should never pit himself against a cook.
I mean, hey, it's a good point.
Is
that racist?
Maybe, maybe. But these guys are kind of oppressors. So I don't know.
True.
Oh, I also love Hachi's triple sword catch.
Yeah. I love
that
it.
Fails.
Oda is so good at, like, everybody splits off into their own separate battles. And, like, these battles are very, like, they're very serious and they can be very technical, but they're also hilarious. And it's like the battles are a way to just make you laugh and to show off some of the, like, goofier sides to this very serious conflict that's going on here. Like this, again, this one caught me off guard again too. Where Hachi uses all 6 of his arms to try and, like, catch Zoro's sword, and Zoro just slices through all of them.
It's amazing. It's something you wouldn't expect, but it still fits in with Hachi's character.
It does, yeah. He's the silliest of these characters for sure.
Absolutely, which is funny because he's up against the most serious of the the Straw Hat Pirates. And you can see that annoyance definitely playing on Zoro's face, especially because, again, it's limited time, and Hachi's goofiness actually plays up where it wastes time.
Mm-hmm.
He has his whole stick up where he uses his suction cups to stick to the pole and avoid Zoro. We just have a little conversation here. It's like he's basically talking himself up about why a human swordsman could never beat him.
Yeah.
It leads to a conversation between the villagers like, okay, these guys are too distracted to go save Luffy. I guess it has to be up to Johnny and Yosaku, but they're too injured from the fight, so they can't actually go help.
Yeah.
Genzo and the others are ready to go help, but it's like, no, we can't have this many people helping. So it's Genzo and Nojiko going because,
so
it's just,
Genzo's like, he's just got this big old hammer.
Yeah. It's like, all right, don't know where you got that, but let's go for it. And actually, this actually brings something up I noticed from watching the anime version for the Nami scene.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they changed this, but Nojiko is shot in the shoulder in the anime, not the stomach. I wonder if there were some complaints because they have her bandages cover up most of her tattoos.
That might be it, actually.
So yeah, I do wonder if that's a thing.
That would make sense.
The wasting time and the effort Zoro's getting put through.
Yeah, and he just keels over.
Not looking so good.
Yeah.
Once again, we're in a fight where Zoro is not at his best.
Yeah. I mean, because, again, like, I think I mentioned this a while back, but, like, the fight with Mihawk was, like, yesterday? 3
days ago at most.
Yeah, yeah. I even love, like, the John Yosaku here commentate that there's, like, that would have killed a normal person, or like any normal person would have been out for half a year. But even despite that, like, Zoro was still kind of schooling Hachi.
Oh, he really is. He just grabs a hold of him and tosses him.
Yeah. It's like Zoro.
Well, he's in, like, this feverish state.
He's, like, dying, but is also just, like, he's still schooling him. It's great.
It really does paint Zoro as kind of the most badass of the other pirates. Like Sanji has some good moments, but he gets distracted a lot easier than Zoro does, and that leads him getting punched through a wall.
Yeah, seriously.
Because Karubi here is a 40th degree master of fishman karate.
Yeah, which is apparently a thing.
Yep, I suppose so. But I do love the next panel where we turn the page and we see how far Sanji was flying, just
this
laid out
hole
flat.
Was blown through the wall of Arlong Park, and he's just laid down flat. Which again, and as this sort of, I think that's Karubi here, real tiny in the background. It's like, well, okay, they're all done for. Like Zoro's down, Sanji just got punched through a wall.
Luffy's drowning and Usopp ran off. So yeah we're done here. But Hachi actually gets mad, pulls out his 6 swords, and he's the second best swordsman on Fishman Island.
Yeah.
Which, they're going to show off the best swordsman on Fishman Island at some point. I don't know who that is. I have no clue on that one, but I
actually don't remember.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We got Hachi with serious face on.
Yeah. I do love that visual of him with all the swords. Like, I feel like that was sort of the moment we were waiting for, where he's, just been kind of goofing around with the fact that he's an octopus. But yeah, just that panel of him holding all 6 swords with all 6 of his arms is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. He looks genuinely insane at that point.
But and then just like the retort from Zoro here,
it's after chopping vegetables, and just listen. There's a man I have to meet, and until I see him again, no one can take my life.
That panel of Zoro mostly inked in black, just like wobbling up. It's so good.
It looks awesome, and hey, we get our other purpose for Johnny Yosaku here.
Yep.
It's a way for him to get back to his 3-sword style.
Oh, yeah. I also forgot about this part, too. Where the way that it happens as well is just so freaking bad. Or I guess that hasn't happened yet.
That's next chapter.
Next chapter, okay,
I still like the other bit. It's like we thought Sanji was laid out flat.
Yeah.
And instead he just lights a cigarette, stands up, brushes himself off. He's bleeding.
Yeah.
He's like, if that was 40th degree punch, then those kicks the crap geezer used to lay on me must have been 400th degree.
Yeah. Oh man, just.
And again,
everybody's got so many good one-liners this chapter.
Oh, they really do. And we see Nojiko and Genzo going to save Luffy as he's still in the water, and then again, didn't see Usopp at all this chapter. But they just show once again he's still running from Chu.
I love that it's the last panel of the chapter, 2 chapters in a row. That made
I don't
me
even
laugh.
know if it's the same panel. I'd have to look, but
it's at least the same composition.
Yeah, it might be just easy thing where you can just pop it in.
Yeah, it would. I feel like that would make it even funnier if it was just literally the same panel reused.
It really would. Not much from the SBS other than somebody disbelieving Zeph's hat.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
How could you doubt Zeph's hat, really?
Of course. I mean, yeah, just...
Yeah, it's just wrong. But now that brings us to Chapter 85, 3 Swords versus 6. And this is probably my favorite of the Kobe and Helmeppo, because one, we get the little girl back, Kobe enjoying himself, and hey, maybe it looks like she got a little bit better at making rice balls. That's nice.
Kobe seems to be enjoying how the rice balls taste. Maybe she's still using sugar. I don't know.
I don't know, but I love Helmeppo is just so done with life. He's just like has a voodoo doll of Luffy.
He has a voodoo doll of Luffy. It's just all right, sure. I guess he has holding a grudge.
Yep, a little bit of a grudge there, and it's kind of wonderful. That's the humor I was kind of hoping for from more of these types of things. So we'll have to see how it evolves from this point. But I was completely caught off guard that we got the next one so soon.
Yeah. Into
the chapter itself, we get Johnny Yosaku, of course, giving us our recap where Zoro's in bad shape, where the wounds from the hawk have made him feverish. Mm-hmm. He's going into serious mode. Has to put on the bandana.
He's got the bandana on and just eyes shaded out, and he's keep your comments to yourself.
Yep.
Great.
And the swords get tossed, and Zoro's just coming to himself. He's breathing heavy. He's like, my fever's going down. Instead of going down, is rising. And he just doesn't seem to be paying attention to anything.
Yep.
It's getting closer. Hachi's getting closer. It's almost like he's being overtaken.
Yeah.
And then the moment you were talking about that you were so
Yes.
impressed by. Yes.
He catches them without even looking at them, and it uses them to block Hachi's swords. It's so unnecessarily cool.
I know. It's that's the only way to put it. And the fact that he is this damaged from a hawk.
Yep.
And he's dodging in between the 6 swords, doing a new move, streaming wolf swords.
I don't know what it did, if it just like stopped him.
I guess it
Or I guess it was a delayed effect because Hachi spurts out blood a couple panels later.
he's able to sort of weave in and out and then cause the chest wound on Hachi.
Yeah, again, now that Zoro has 3 swords, he is just styling on him.
Oh yeah, he is. And man, that again, the shading on him, the shocked look from the villagers is like, what the hell are we watching here?
Oh man.
And we got the fact that Hachi has 2 chest wounds now from Zoro from this fight.
I love the detail that his hair's still cut.
Yeah, I'm glad they kept that. Again, the most serious character is like, I may only have 3 blades, but look at them. They're much weightier than yours.
Yeah.
And Hachi just takes it literally.
It's like, what do you mean?
Mine are like weigh 650 pounds each. So they're much heavier. But but before that, we get more of Genzo and Nojiko trying to rescue Luffy, but using a hammer underwater is not exactly going well.
Yeah, not your brightest plan, I got to admit. Again, I feel like because it's like kind of supposed to be a joke, but they're also kind of seriously supposed to be trying to save him.
Yeah, and Luffy's properly passed out at this point.
Yeah, he's out.
But they have an idea. We don't see said idea, but they have one.
They're trying to figure something out. So hopefully he'll be back in the game pretty soon.
Hopefully. But yeah, we get this the whole fight. We get to see the 6 sword style octopus pot stance, New Year's Open body slam, which, man,
it's not even a sword technique.
No, he just sort of uses it to pry apart all of Zoro's swords and headbutt him in the chest, which is, granted, really damaging at this point.
It looks like it hurts.
It does do a great setup where we got Waltz of the 6 swords, and it's basically a rotary blade for like
it's like, I don't know, like a fan blade.
Yeah,
like a meat grinder.
Yeah, it looks like, oh man, he's just going to be chopped to bits.
Yeah,
like literally diced up. And it looks brutal at first, like you can see him sort of spinning in the thump, and it's like, oh god. And then the next page, you see he actually managed to get through it
somehow. They explain it, but it's like the logic lost me a little bit.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You know what? It was cool, so I don't really care.
It is shown it as all get out because we got the explanation is like, he matched the rotation of my blades and passed right between them, even managing to cut his hands.
So I guess he sort of he lucked out. Zoro lucked out.
I guess he may have placed the swords in such a way because they're using like an umbrella and a ball as an example here as sort of how it kind of works. So
I guess he just passed through the gap, but
he set it up, passed through the gap, and then cut his his hands on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the entire time Zoro is just not looking great. You can see the blood coming out from the wound where the wound was.
Oh.
And it looks awful. And I've not watched the anime part of this in a long time, but I don't know if it happens here or if it happens later, but I think they do reveal his wounds to everybody at some point.
Oh god.
And just how bad they are. At least in the anime. I don't know if they do it here, but they do show it at some point. Like it's like, oh god, how is he fighting like this?
Yeah. I mean, Zoro has not had a good week.
No, he finally got to the point of being fully healed, and now he's at this like in this situation.
Yeah.
Yet he has been kind of like, I don't think Hachi's gotten a good hit on him whatsoever.
Yeah.
It does not go any further because we got the whole thing of like, I have to live to defeat Hawkeye Mihawk. I cannot fall. I cannot die.
Introducing Mihawk into the story to give Zoro a motivation like that early is so good, because now it sort of provides context for all of his fights going forward, because like Zoro just got a taste of what like the tippy top of the power scale is like, And so he's, fighting Hachi and fighting some of his opponents later on. He's just, like, I can't lose to chumps like you.
I have to get better. I have to just do everything I can.
Yep.
And yeah, Zoro cuts apart all 6 of those 650-pound swords with his onigiri.
Oh, man.
And then he does, we get Hachi going in for one last thing, the octopus fritter frenzy, but the dragon twister is enough to just...
One of Zoro's coolest attacks.
My God. I forgot how many freaking moves Zoro has. He just keeps pulling them out.
I played Pirate Warriors. I know exactly how many moves he has.
Oh, wow.
They made sure to put every single one in him.
I can't play Pirate Warriors until we get much farther, because I know they take a while.
Oh, yeah.
It does make me interested about checking those out. I don't know whether they're all, it's just worth it to play the newest one or just go through them in order. I don't know, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure either, really.
I can imagine them being pretty fun especially with some of these move sets.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hachi's just flying in the air.
Just knocked up straight in the air by the dragon twister.
Yeah. And
just blood spurting out of him. Crashes down. Oh, man.
Hachi just can't believe it that he lost the 3 swords.
Yeah.
The Karubi and Arlong are completely shocked. And I love this line as Hachi crashes back in. It's like, the rest of you are beneath my notice. I have to save Luffy.
So good.
Oh, and then Karubi goes in for the punch and kill.
Yep.
And that's when Sanji makes it back.
Again. Yeah.
I like how Sanji talks up to Baratie. He's like,
yeah.
I can't believe there's a man on the East Blue that can take the full force of my punch and live. It's like, the Baratie could definitely handle you.
Yeah. When it talks smack, he's just like, I know like 20 people at a restaurant who could kick your ass.
I know. I'm not convinced. Like, maybe Patty and Carnay. Maybe.
Yeah. Zeph would school these guys for sure.
Oh, Zeph would definitely school these guys. No doubt. But yeah, that's where we end off. We finished the first part of the fight. We finished Zoro versus Hachi. Next up is Sanji versus Karubi.
And then we still have to Usopp and Chu.
Yep, Usopp and Chu.
I imagine that'll be in the next batch, but...
Yeah, I can't imagine either. Like, I was actually pretty surprised that Zoro and Hachi's fight only took, 2 chapters?
Yeah, it's already over.
Yeah, that was a very, very quick fight. But fun.
Oh, yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah. It just, man, the pace has picked up so much now that we have all of... And that isn't me saying that, like, the pacing for this arc was bad. It was brilliant. But just, like, now that we've gotten all of the setup out of the way, and it is just, like, fight. And it feels so good to be finally in it. To just see the Straw Hat crew take him down. Yeah,
the style, actually, the way it was all set up makes it the fights feel quicker, because before we had, ostensibly you got into the fighting of the on the Baratie with Don Krieg pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Into those chapters. But that fight was really drawn out because of all the new members coming up, the Mahawk situation, the backstory. The fight itself felt like it took a lot longer because it was all mixed in with the
There was a lot happening.
Yeah. This one, it's set up, payoff.
It is. There's a we got to that split, chapter 82 onwards is like, all right, time to fight.
Yep. Let's get this fight in motion, and we'll see how long it takes to free Luffy, but so far, loving the fights. It's cathartic as all hell. Yep.
Oh boy, is it.
Oh yeah.
This is still. I can't wait to get to the next batch.
Yeah, I am so curious if this is the first time you've read it. Mm-hmm. Please tell me in the comments what you thought about this moment with Nami.
Yeah, I would love to. Again, I would love to see how people feel about it. It is, like I've said multiple times in this episode, it's one of my favorite moments in the entire manga. So it is. That is the moment that I became a One Piece fan. So
it sold me on it. I have to watch it from this point, because to see that emotional core, and then to see this follow up, and then just get to the companionship between the crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was just ready for anything at that point.
For sure.
With that, I do believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 81 to 85 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. Brandon, where can they find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter if you want to see me talk about anime and manga and games and my job. I really don't talk about my job that much these days. I haven't had that much interesting things to say, but if there's ever a new volume of like Dragon Ball or Kaiju number 8 coming out, I tend to do a big showcase of like, here's all the stuff I did for it. It nearly killed me.
I know you also retweet a bunch of industry stuff, so it can kind of guide people to that more of seeing what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
from manga. So that's always interesting.
That is what people like my account for. Or in general. Just like I had no idea this was like a thing. So yeah, if you want to know what lettering is like, that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out. And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 86 to 90 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Luffy, help me.